Kiki was a young 13-year-old witch. Tonight she was going to leave home with her black cat, Kiki. All young witches had to leave their hometown when they turned 13, on a night with a full moon. It was the tradition among witches for girls to complete their training by going to a faraway town and living by themselves for a whole year. Let's discover Kiki's story together. My name is Alina. If you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and click on the bell button. You can help me create more videos like this one by supporting me on Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon. Enjoy the video.
Kiki leaves home. Kiki's mother had made a black witch's dress, especially for this day. Lilac would look prettier on me. With a black cat and a black dress, I look really dumb, complained Kiki. It's not important what color your dress is, said her mother. What matters is the heart inside. And don't forget your smile. Kiki showed off her new outfit to her loving father. Dad, can you lift me up high like when I was little? Okay, here we go. Dad hoisted Kiki up and said, How did you grow up so fast? I hope you find a good town. I will. It was time to go. Kiki's neighbors gathered to see her off. Goodbye, Kiki called out. Then she climbed onto her broomstick. The broom floated up, then soared high into the sky. Where are we going? Asked Gigi. South, to see the ocean, replied Kiki. She felt sure that something wonderful lay ahead and was bursting with excitement about her new life. But oh no, a huge storm blew in that night, bringing rain and lightning. Kiki managed to find shelter from the storm inside a freight train. The train chugged all night long, carrying Kiki and Gigi inside. The next morning, Kiki jumped up to see the view of the ocean. Gigi, the ocean, the ocean! Look, it's a city floating on waves. Kiki squinted through the sun at the town. It was large and bustling. She heard bells chiming. It's a clock tower. I've always dreamed of living in a town like this. It'll be a great place to live. Kiki flew down into the city in high spirits. What's that? My, a witch! The townspeople looked up in surprise at Kiki flying on her broom. Kiki flew along smartly, remembering her mother saying, Don't forget your smile. She whisked neatly around the corner, only to end up face to face with a huge bus. Kya! She screamed. Kiki dodged the bus and careened into the middle of the street. A cluster of cars braked at once, the road filled with confusion. By the time Kiki managed to land on the sidewalk, everyone was gawking at her. Flustered and nervous, Kiki tried to explain. My name is Kiki, and I'm a witch. I'd be honored if I could live in this town. She put on her brightest smile, but nobody bothered to answer. In fact, they avoided her and acted like she was a nuisance. Kiki was left standing all alone until a policeman came up to her. Who do you think you are flying around in town? But I'm a witch. Witches fly. Witches have to obey traffic laws too. Just then, someone shouted, Thief! Thief! You stay right there, the policeman told Kiki. He ran toward the shouts. Kiki stole away quietly. The townspeople had been unfriendly, and the policeman had scolded her. Kiki walked briskly, trying to shake off her dark mood. A boy on a bicycle caught up with her. "Hey, wait up! I sure fooled that cop, huh? That was me yelling thief. I'm Tombo." Tombo didn't notice Kiki's silence. He kept chattering away. "You're a witch, right? I saw you flying. Come on, show me your broom, will you?" Kiki stopped walking and glared at him. "Thank you for helping me, but I don't recall asking for your help. Besides, it's very rude to just start talking to a girl before you've been properly introduced." Kiki and Gigi spent the whole day walking around town. Not one person offered a kind word. Tired, Kiki stopped by a stone wall and looked out at the town. She felt lonely watching the sunset over an unfamiliar city. "Let's look for another town. I bet there are better ones," said Gigi. Just then, a woman with a big belly ran out of a nearby bakery. It was the bakery lady. She came up next to Kiki, waved a pacifier in the air, and shouted, "Ma'am, you forgot this!" Far below, there was a woman pushing a baby carriage down the street. "Oh dear, without this, the baby will wake up and cry all the way home." The bakery lady sighed as she held the pacifier. Kiki found herself speaking up. "Excuse me, but would you like me to deliver it for you? It's the woman with the baby carriage, right?" The bakery lady looked at Kiki in surprise, then gave her a bright smile. "Really? Thank you so much." "My pleasure." Kiki took the pacifier and climbed onto the stone wall. Straddling her broomstick, she said, "Here we go, Gigi," and flew into the sky. The bakery lady was astonished. To thank Kiki for delivering the pacifier, the bakery lady treated her to a snack. Kiki recounted the day's events and said, "The people in this town don't seem to like witches very much." The bakery lady replied, smiling, "This is a big town with all kinds of people. Take me, for instance. I like you. If you have no place to stay, we have a spare room you can use." "You'd really let me stay with you?" Kiki's eyes danced. "Why, of course. But we haven't introduced ourselves. My name's Osono." "I'm Kiki, and this is my black cat, Gigi." Osono showed Kiki and Gigi to the room in the attic. It looked like it hadn't been used in years. White powder coated everything in the dim room. Gigi noticed his paws turning white as he walked. "There's floor everywhere. If you wake up tomorrow and find a white cat, it's me." And so night fell on Kiki and Gigi's first day in the new town. Moonlight glowed faintly in through the window. "I want to stay in this town a little longer," Kiki murmured. "Maybe I'll meet some other friendly people like Osono." A flying delivery service. "Morning, everyone!" When Kiki woke up the next morning, Osono and the baker were already busy at work. The bakery was always bustling early in the day. Kiki got to work right away. As she helped carry trays of freshly baked bread, she announced, "I've decided to start a business, a delivery service. I only have one skill, and that's flying, so I thought I could deliver things." "Oh my! Kiki's flying delivery service? What a fun idea!" Osono was all for it. "I'll tell you what, you can use our bakery phone. If you can mind the store sometimes, I could use the help." "Oh, thank you. I'll work very hard." That very afternoon, Kiki got her first customer. A pretty lady came in and asked, "Can you deliver this to my nephew for his birthday?" She held out a birdcage. Inside the cage was a stuffed cat that looked just like Gigi. "I sure can. Where would you like it delivered?" Kiki unfolded a map. The lady pointed to the cape at the edge of town. "It's a little far. Can you deliver it before evening?" "Yes, leave it to me," Kiki declared confidently. Kiki was thrilled to be on her first job. "Gigi, I like this town." Kiki flew up, and up. She soared into the sky. A sudden strong gust of wind sent Kiki and her broom flying sideways. "Oh, the birdcage!" Kiki clung fiercely to the broomstick as she dove down after the cage. "Got it!" But just when she thought she had it, crash! She plunged into the forest. An angry crow squawked in her face. Kiki noticed she'd landed next to a nest with eggs. "I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to steal your eggs," she explained. She hurried out of the forest. That was a close one, she thought with a sigh of relief. But just then, Gigi yelled, "Kiki, it's gone!" The stuffed toy was missing from its cage. "Oh no, it must have fallen out!" Kiki rushed back toward the forest. When she got close, the crows swarmed up and started screeching. The angry crows were squawking, "The egg stealer is back!" The crows pecked at Kiki until she had no choice but to flee. Gigi looked at Kiki and said, "We'll have to sneak back after dark to get it. Then we won't make the delivery in time unless we buy ourselves some time." Kiki looked at Gigi and made a decision. "Gigi, please, get in the cage and pretend to be the stuffed animal. I'll come rescue you as soon as I find the real one." Kiki flew full speed ahead until the house came into view. "Is that the one?" asked Gigi anxiously. "That's right. Hold still." "Can I breathe?" "No, try not to." Kiki tensed up as she landed. Her heart pounded as she rang the doorbell. A small boy came running out. "It's Auntie's present!" The boy seized the cage and peered inside. Gigi did his best impersonation of a stuffed cat. "Mom, can I move the canary into his new cage?" The boy yanked Gigi out roughly and dangled him by the tail. "Oh no, Gigi could die here!" Kiki got her delivery slip signed, then hurried back to find the stuffed animal. First she returned to the area near the crow's nest, but the toy was not there. "Now what? I was sure it'd fallen near here." Soon it would be dark. Kiki wanted to rescue Gigi quickly. She paced through the dense forest, looking everywhere. In the distance she saw a log cabin. When she got closer, what should she see in the window but a stuffed animal shaped like a black cat? Meanwhile, Gigi was in trouble. There was a big dog in the house. "Kiki, hurry up!" Gigi was lying on the floor where the boy had dropped him. Drops of sweat covered his body. Soon the dog began to twitch his nose. Gigi watched in terror as the dog approached him. The dog's huge face loomed in front of Gigi. "I'm done for," thought Gigi. He squeezed his eyes shut. The dog licked Gigi's face with his fat tongue and flopped down by him. He seemed to be guarding Gigi. Gigi opened his eyes. What was going on? Kiki discovered an artist named Ursula living in the log cabin. Ursula was drawing up on the roof, surrounded by crows. That black cat you have in the window," Kiki began hesitantly. Ursula replied without looking up. "I found it in the woods." Kiki did her best to explain all that happened. "So, you're on your own at 13. Impressive. Ursula returned the stuffed toy to Kiki. "Come again for a longer visit," she said. "Thanks." Kiki dashed away to rescue Gigi. By now it was dark everywhere. As Kiki peered quietly into the house, Gigi came racing out. "Kiki! Gigi! I'm sorry it took so long." Kiki hugged Gigi. "My friend helped me escape, and he'll take the stuffed cat inside for us." Gigi pointed to the large dog seated in front of the door. Kiki held the toy out to the dog. "Could you take this in?" The dog took the stuffed animal gently in his mouth and plodded into the house. "Let's go home." Kiki and Gigi flew into the night sky. The stars twinkled above. The town glittered below. "I'm hungry," muttered Gigi. "Me too, and tired," agreed Kiki. "But what an exciting day!" When they got back to the bakery, there was a sign made of bread hanging in the window. Kiki's Flying Delivery Service. The baker had baked it for Kiki. Kiki's first friend. One afternoon, Kiki was full of sighs as she minded the bakery. "How boring! No customers at all." She was yawning a great big yawn when the phone rang. Kiki's face brightened. "Hello?" It was a delivery customer for her. "The house with the blue roof? Certainly, I'll be there." Kiki was getting ready to leave when Tombo came in. "It's that rude boy from the other day," she thought. She shot him an unfriendly look, but Tombo approached her cheerfully. "Our club is having a party tonight. It's the aviation club. I'd really like for you to come," he said. "Here is your invitation." "An invitation?" Kiki found herself casting a glance at the envelope he held. "I'll come back to get you at 6, he said. When Tombo left, Kiki shared her excitement with Osono. "What should I do? I've been invited to a party." Osono smiled. "How lovely! Why don't you go?" Kiki still had the delivery job to do, so she set out for the house with the blue roof. The housekeeper let her in and led her to the kitchen. A kindly old woman was waiting there for Kiki. "My goodness, what a charming little witch," she said. "I'm so sorry, but my oven broke. I haven't been able to bake the pie you were to deliver. I'd hoped to send a freshly baked pie to my granddaughter's party, but what can I do now?" The grandmother smiled, but she seemed sad. If only there was some way Kiki could help. Then an old wood-fired oven caught Kiki's eye. "Madam, let's bake it in that oven. I'll help." Kiki rolled up her sleeves. Back at home, she'd used a wood-fired oven like this one. She put the logs in and started the fire. If she wasn't quick, it would soon be 6 o'clock. Kiki tried not to rush as she baked a pie, just as her mother had taught her. Finally, a delicious-looking pie was ready. It was almost 6. Kiki put the steaming hot pie in her basket and flew off. Ominous rain clouds darkened the sky. "The weather was so nice just a little while ago." Kiki looked anxiously at the sky and flew even faster. Soon the rain was coming down hard. "Let's find some shelter," suggested Gigi. Kiki refused to slow down. "We can't. We'll be late for the party, and the pie will get cold." She wrapped her skirt around the pie and flew furiously toward her destination. When she rang the doorbell, a girl dressed in a party frock opened the door. "A delivery for you." Kiki smiled and held out the basket. The girl hardly glanced at it. "Just another pie from Grandma. I hate this crummy pie." She took the basket ungratefully and slammed the door. "But I worked so hard for that pie. After all I went through to deliver it." It was past 6, but Kiki no longer had the energy to hurry. As she drew closer to the bakery, she spotted Tombo walking back home. "Kiki, there he is! Come on, we can catch him!" Gigi shouted. Kiki remained silent. She entered the bakery, soaking wet. Osono saw her and asked, "Kiki, didn't you see that boy? He waited such a long time for you." "It doesn't matter anyway. I can't go in these wet clothes." Kiki ran up to her attic room and crawled straight into bed. The next morning, Kiki woke with a high fever. She had gone to sleep without drying off properly and had caught a cold. Her body felt hot and her head hurt. When she got sick like this, her mother used to stay right by her side. Kiki fought back tears of loneliness. Osono prepared a nice hot milk porridge for Kiki. "Oh, that boy stopped by to see you again today. He seemed worried when I told him you were sick," she said. "You must be tired. Eat this and try to get some rest." A few days later, Kiki finally felt better. "Kiki, will you deliver this for me? The name is Kopori. Make sure you hand it directly to him," said Osono. Gigi was out on a date. Kiki's delivery wasn't far, so she decided to go on foot. What a surprise! When she delivered the package, she discovered that Kopori was none other than Tombo. The delivery was Osono's way of getting Kiki to see him. Kiki decided to apologize. "I'm sorry about the other night." Tombo grinned. "Don't worry about it. I'm sorry you got caught in that rain. Hey, there's something I want to show you," he added. Kiki followed Tombo. They came to a bicycle with a propeller attached to it. "The party was to celebrate this. We'll put wings on and it'll be a human-powered airplane. I'll be the pilot, of course." Tombo climbed on the bike to demonstrate the pedals. It was hard work to get the large propellers to turn. Tombo's face turned bright red as he pedaled with all his might. His enthusiasm for flying was contagious. Kiki felt her spirits rise. "How about going to see the dirigible?" Tombo suggested. "Dirigible? I saw it on the news. It made an emergency landing on the coast." The two got on the bicycle and sped downhill at full tilt toward the shoreline. "That's the dirigible, right?" At that moment, a car zoomed around the curve right at them. "Wow, hold on!" Tombo yanked on the handlebars and the bicycle floated up. "We're flying!" The next instant, the propeller came off and whoosh! Crash! The two flew off and landed on the grass. "That was close." After breathing a sigh of relief, it suddenly struck Kiki as funny and she burst out laughing. It felt good to laugh so much again. Kiki and Tombo chatted as they gazed up at the dirigible. "They say it's going to fly all the way around the world." "Really?" "You're so lucky you can fly, Kiki." "It's not always fun." "Yeah, but it's something only you can do." "I've been feeling uncertain about it all, but I'm glad I came with you today. Thanks, Tombo. You're a very nice person." "Huh? You just found that out?" The two looked at each other and laughed. Just then someone called out, "Hey, Tombo!" Tombo and Kiki turned to look. A car had pulled up. Among the girls in the car was the one Kiki had delivered the pie to the other day. "Guess what?" called the girls. "They're going to let us inside the blimp." "Really?" Tombo stood up and ran to the car. "Kiki, come with us!" He looked back and shouted. Kiki scolded. "Not me! I'm not going!" "What's the matter? What are you mad about?" Tombo was baffled. "I'm not mad. I just have to get back to work." With that curt reply, Kiki turned and headed home. Kiki Can't Fly. At home, Her confused and restless feelings only grew stronger. Gigi, what's wrong with me? I finally made a friend, but I just don't feel like my usual cheerful self. Gigi watched Kiki for a while, then disappeared outside with a meow. It was evening when he returned. Gigi, where have you been? Your dinner's gotten cold, scolded Kiki. Gigi only said, meow. Meow? Why aren't you talking? Say Kiki, she prompted. But Gigi only went out again, silently. What was going on? Kiki couldn't understand what Gigi was saying. No, what if... Kiki jumped onto her broomstick with alarm. She couldn't fly. Panicking, she tried again. It was no use. Kiki dashed outside. She ran and took a flying leap. She ran again and took another flying leap. Each time she fell down the hill, until eventually the broomstick cracked. The next morning, Kiki revealed to Osono that she could no longer fly. My magic has gotten very weak. I'll have to take a break from my delivery work. But your powers will come back, won't they? Asked Osono. Kiki answered, I really don't know. Maybe if I make another broom. I'm still in training to become a witch. If I lose my magic, I'll have lost everything. Just then, the dirigible came floating through the morning sky. She could see the passengers on board waving their hands. Was that Tombo up there? Kiki felt glum as she watched it drift by. On one such gloomy day, Ursula surprised Kiki with a visit. Hi, come in. So how have you been? Is the delivery business going well? Asked Ursula. Kiki looked down and explained. Ursula listened. So that explains why you look unhappy. Hey, why don't you come stay at my cabin? Kiki accepted the invitation and went with Ursula. It was her first time riding on a bus, since she used to fly everywhere on her broom. After getting off the bus and walking for a while through the forest, the log cabin came into view. Entering the cabin, Kiki stopped in surprise. There was a large painting on an easel. It looked unfinished, but Kiki felt strangely drawn to it. She walked closer. It's beautiful. Meeting you the other day inspired me to paint this, said Ursula. Ursula's eyes were on the girl in the middle of the painting. Kiki looked at Ursula with astonishment. That's me? Now sit right there and model for me. Ursula sketched as Kiki modeled for her. That night the two stayed up late, talking. So, your witch's powers don't come from chanting magical spells? Asked Ursula. Kiki shook her head. We fly with our spirit. Trusting your spirit, huh? I like the sound of that. It's the same spirit that makes me paint and makes your friend bake. But we each need to find our own inspiration, Kiki. Kiki to the rescue. The next day, Kiki felt a little bit more light-hearted. On her way home, she called Osono, who told her the old woman in the house with the blue roof had phoned. Kiki went directly to the old woman's house and found her watching television. Come in, she said. Thank you for your help the other day. It seems the dirigible is taking off today. The whole town is excited about it. The old woman held out a white box. Open it, Kiki. Kiki lifted the lid and gasped. It was a beautiful cake. Kiki could hardly believe her eyes. The old woman teased her, saying, Would you please deliver it to a girl named Kiki? It's to thank her for being such a big help the other day. Oh yes, and ask her when her birthday is. I'll bake another cake for her then." Kiki gazed into the kind, grandmotherly face. Tears of happiness welled up in her eyes. Wiping away tears, she smiled and replied, "I bet that girl would want to know your birthday too. I know she'd have fun thinking of a good present." Just then they heard an alarmed announcer on television exclaim, "This is an emergency! A sudden violent gust of wind has snapped the dirigible's mooring ropes." The television showed the dirigible keeled over on its end. A crowd of people held onto a rope in a desperate effort to tie the big blimp down. Their efforts were useless. The dirigible floated into the sky, taking along a boy who still dangled from the rope. "What? It's Tombo!" "Hey, that's my friend!" Kiki bolted outside and ran as fast as she could. The dirigible drifted in the wind toward the center of town. Kiki kept running after the dirigible. She ran and ran until she was too tired to run anymore. When she finally stopped to catch her breath, there was a man with a push broom right in front of her. Kiki took one look at the broom and had an idea. She looked up at the man. "Please, sir, can I borrow your broom?" Kiki straddled the broom and concentrated. The only thing on her mind was flying. Wind began to whoosh and swirl around her. Suddenly the broom bristles flared. Slowly, slowly, the broom floated into the air. "Fly!" shouted Kiki, and the broom soared into the sky. "Tombo, I'm coming!" But the broom refused to obey Kiki. It lunged upward, plunged downward, and jerked violently in midair. "Come on, broom! Fly properly!" Kiki gripped the broom firmly with her hands and legs and struggled to fly. The dirigible bumped into the clock tower and was tilting dangerously. "Tombo!" Kiki finally got to the dirigible. She reached her hand out to Tombo. "Kiki!" Tombo tried to grasp her hand, but the broom kept flitting back and forth like a leaf in the wind. Tombo's other hand was on the rope, but by now it was going numb. He began to slip down. "Oh no!" Tombo fell. Kiki dove headlong after him. She snatched his hand. "Hooray!" The crowd cheered as the two came floating down. Gigi managed to find Kiki. "Meow." He still wasn't talking. "That's okay," thought Kiki. "Gigi will always be my dear friend." Kiki smiled and felt she'd grown up a little bit. Kiki wrote a letter to her parents back home. "There are still some times when I feel homesick, but all in all, I sure love this city." The end.